Hey, this is Chris, Marabella Commercial Finance. I am here with Pam Goodwin. Hey, Pam, how are you doing?
Hi,
Pam,
Chris.
I'm doing
Great.
great. It's nice weather here in California. How's the weather in Texas?
Perfect. Blue sky and 80 after we've had flooding the last couple days here in Texas, lots of rain, so we're happy to see the sunshine.
I can tell it's springtime here in California. It's starting to get warm. Pam was an award-winning power broker for DCEO. I guess out of, what is it, 2,200 brokers? Explain that to me a little bit, Pam. What was the significance of that award?
So out of all the local Dallas and Fort Worth brokers, out of more than 2,200 brokers in Dallas, Fort Worth, they select a small group depending on the amount of sales,
Okay.
in different categories. So the category for me was under commercial property sales. So I had a good year last year selling, some triple net deals, selling some land. And so they have a big ceremony that happened in March or February, March. And so it's great to get together with top brokers in the industry.
Are you doing more investment sales, development, or leasing? I know that didn't you develop a couple Walgreens a while back?
We did. Our
Okay.
primarily business is developing single tenant net lease deals. We're based here in Dallas, Texas. After working for Brinker International, developing more than 50 chili pad sites, I 13 years ago started my own development business. And we specialize in single tenant properties with the national. So yes, we've done Walgreens, Chase, McDonald's, Discount Tires, mattress firms, a variety of those. We also do brokerage work representing primarily tenants and,
Okay.
and then also consulting for people that
So
own land and want to develop.
do you think, Pam, there's a different skill set with doing investment sales versus development versus leasing? Which skill set do you like most, or do you like them equally? But is there a difference? What's the hardest? What's the easiest? What part of the business do you really enjoy?
I Yeah, now being in it for more than 30 years,
Uh,
I yeah, so yeah, being on the, working now for more than 30 years, I started off large shopping center development, and then I went on the tenant side in my own. So I have a good idea of the whole process from construction development.
what do you again do you enjoy about investment sales, development, leasing? What part of the business do you enjoy? Why or why not?
Probably the one that I like the most is I really do like developing properties because, and that's part of, I really like to bring a new restaurant, a new retailer to, and I focus on the smaller communities because I learned while working for Brinker developing Chili's how exciting it is for a new community to have a restaurant. So I really, really do like the development when they see, some old motel going down, being renovated, and then a new tenant going in. But I also like the investment sales. I primarily work with the buyers looking
Uh-huh.
for opportunities. And so it's really helped me on the development side too. When I'm structuring my leases with those national tenants, I know exactly what the investors are looking for. Is it going to be a Walgreens, as you know, has more value if it's a double drive-through or if it's a 24-hour store when it opens up? So,
hmm
and then having rent bumps, and as you know, loaning money to people, how important it is to structure that lease of what investors are looking for.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, how do you get most of your buyers for your investment sales? Are you representing more buyers, sellers, and are the buyers 1031 buyers? Are they normal investors? I know that you mentioned that you had just done a McAllister.
I typically represent the buyer, and I find them just because most of them are repeat buyers or
Uh-huh.
ones that I've reached out if I have a property to sell, I also, am selling them for clients too. So for example, the McAllisters, she was a
hmm
repeat client who was in a 1031 exchange who was selling one of her properties and had to find something. So we were able to find this McAllister's in Stillwater, Oklahoma for her.
That definitely looks like a good location. A lot of cars there, huh?
Right.
Lined up. If you're looking, hopefully you can see my screen. Looks like a great location. And that was a drive-through, huh? And across the street you had, it looks like Old Navy, TJ Maxx, and it was kind of on a highway location. And so that was in Oklahoma. And did the buyer on that get a loan, or was that an all-cash deal?
It was an all-cash deal, and in Stillwater, Oklahoma, that's where Oklahoma State University is. And the local franchisee who's actually based here in Dallas that owns more than 80 McAllisters. And so on this one, they put together a brand new 20-year sale leaseback on this McAllister's.
Oh, okay. So this was a sale leaseback. You didn't actually buy this from an existing landlord. This was a sale leaseback with a franchisee. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
Now, did the owner occupy and run this location before they sold it?
Right.
So it had been there for a while. What kind of lease did they structure?
So it was a brand new 20-year deal at a 5.5 cap.
And the price was $2,650,000. And did your buyer get a loan, or did they buy this all cash?
They bought it all cash on this one in their 1031 exchange. But typically we do deal with people looking for loans, part loan, part cash on some of these triple net deals.
And when did that close, and when did you start the loan? Approximately.
I think it was July of last summer when we closed on this particular one.
Okay, July of last summer. Okay, awesome. So now let's talk a little bit about your website and your books, because you've got a great website. You wrote some books, and they're on your website. Let's talk about winning ways in commercial real estate. Who would want to read this, and what would they get out of it? I noticed you had some endorsements from a celebrity here from Shark Tank, but go ahead.
Right. So winning ways in commercial real estate, we're excited. I put together, myself included, with 17 other women in commercial real estate, and it became a bestseller on Amazon. But I have a lot of people buying it that, it's a great college gift coming up, a great high school gift. If you're interested in going in some type of commercial real estate, but you have no idea. So for example, we have Val Richardson from the Container Store. She's the director of real estate. She wrote a chapter. We have several other real estate managers who represent these national companies, what they look for, or they may work for large shopping center developers. They may be an architect, an attorney. We have a variety of industries you can go into real estate. So I have a lot of women and men buying it, but it makes a great gift for, coming up.
How was it palling around with Barbara Corcoran? Did you actually get to meet her in person? Did she give you any tips on how to be successful, or was it more or less she just kind of endorsed you?
No, I really look up to her. And on my website, I have the other book is 1 Cent Lemonade to $1 Million Deals right there. And so I really look up to Barbara as far as what she's been able to do in real estate. But I had a great opportunity to meet her. I flew up to her New York office and talked for more than 2 hours about business.
Is she in commercial real estate or strictly residential, or does she have her foot in kind of both of commercial and residential?
Well, she was doing 100% residential, and she sold her business for approximately about $65 million. Wow. So it was really fun to go over with her commercial real estate and how to buy these triple net, single net, single tenant assets. So it was great to meet her. And then she provided the testimonial for my book. So you met a couple other celebrities, executives, and a couple rock stars. You met Warren Buffett on a deal you were working with Nebraska Furniture Mart, correct? And how did you get to know Warren? Did you actually meet him? Did you talk to him? Did he give you any tips? And is he involved in net lease real estate? Well, he is in some format. So being based here in Dallas, I I was representing Rock and Brews, the tenant. I was representing the tenant. I knew that they were looking for a space. And then I heard
Okay.
Nebraska Furniture Mart. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I actually used to work at Nebraska Furniture Mart, one of the largest furniture stores in the world. Warren Buffett actually owns it. So they ended up buying more than 400 acres in the Colony, Texas, which is close by. So I thought that'd be a perfect location for Rock and Brews. And it turns out the last time I heard it was their #1 location. So I'm proud of that. But I did get to meet Warren at the grand opening for Nebraska Furniture Mart since I, worked with a developer on that.
So was Warren the landlord and then you were representing Rock and Brews to get into that development?
Right. Warren Buffett's company bought the 400 acres and now it's called Grandscape. And it's they're building, they have the Nebraska Furniture Mart. They have a lot of restaurant pad site development going around there. Retail center. Now they're building they have a couple of hotels. They're building an office, a new Shield Sporting. So with that 400 acres, it's become a massive development that Warren Buffett, his company has done here for Texas.
And where is that? What can you share that? Like what street is it on? Where's the actual location where somebody could check it out?
So
or is
just,
that information you can't share?
Yeah, it's under Grandscape is the name of the overall development. It's in the Colony, Texas, located on 121, Highway 121 there. And you can see the large master plan and aerial of everything that they've developed there.
So you did get the Rock and Brews in there though, right? You actually placed the Rock and Brews.
Yep,
and then you had some celebrities on the other end. You had Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley that you were working with Rock and Brews, right? It's their concept. They're rolling out with it. They're doing casinos. And can you share what kind of lease are you still representing them to roll out their concept, Rock and Brews?
Yeah, I don't have an exclusive with them because they also are a real estate development team, but knowing, I did represent them on that location. But that was actually a ground lease. They prefer, since they are developers, they do prefer to buy the land. But in this case, in that entire development, they're all ground leases. So I think it was like a 10-year ground lease. Everyone.
So now, what do you see with technology? A lot of changes, right? We've got Crexi, we've got LoopNet, we can do title searches, we've got CoStar. Doing these online podcasts. A lot of things have changed since I got in the business in 1995. It's been, tremendous change technology-wise. Are you seeing the same thing? Are you using technology to advance your business? And how's it made it easier? Or has it made it easier? What's your feeling? I guess that could be a two-edged sword with Amazon affecting tenants expanding, but then it's making our job easier to process transactions. What's been your feeling about technology?
Yeah, as you mentioned, all of those items, it keeps changing all the time, but still on CoStar, still on LoopNet. Another new app that I really like these days that I found is called Land Glide. Are you familiar?
What is it called?
Land Glide.
And what is that? What do you do with Land Glide?
It's a great app. So when I'm out there looking for property, and before I would have to write down the address and then come back and then find out what county it's in and look up the tax to find out who the ownership is or the boundary line. This has every single piece of property in the country, residential and commercial. And it has the satellite and the aerial view. So it shows me exactly where that property line is. And then if I click it, it has information all about the property, what they're paying in taxes, and then a link to take you directly to the county. And as we know, it's just a great starting point. It may not necessarily, as we know, be the owner, just the person paying the taxes, but most of the time, the person that owns the property is paying the taxes. And then on that LLC, it listed on there. And then I go, nowadays it's great, as you mentioned, technology, trying to find out who those sellers are to see if they want to sell that triple net. to go back on LinkedIn is my favorite social media for commercial real estate, to list properties, look for properties, and then I can also find out who's in that LLC by that name. Sometimes once I can get a hold of their name, I look them up on LinkedIn.
This is a pretty cool technology that I downloaded when I go to Peru quite often, because my in-laws are in Peru. So this year I used this here. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Tiny Scanner Pro. And what I did is I just, hooked up my phone as a scanner, like I was signing documents. And you can just take a picture of the document and then you can email it or whatever you want to do. I thought that was pretty cool. Have you heard about this Tiny Scanner Pro? It's pretty neat. You can download it on, for me, it's Play Store. So you can just download it on your phone and your phone becomes a scanner, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. I use Turbo Scan.
Turbo Scan? Okay.
Turbo Scan, but I'll check yours out. But yeah, all that technology is making things a lot easier to look up property owners and scan stuff and LinkedIn and social media and post your properties and do these, podcasts and learn. Everything's just great. I could be on it 24 hours.
That's awesome. So Pam, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, Net Lease TV. How can somebody contact you if they want to do a lease with you for Rock and Brews or Walgreens, or if there's a buyer out there that's in a 1031 and they want to buy a Walgreens, CVS, 7-Eleven, or other net lease property, or somebody wants to list some land in the Texas area, how can someone contact you to start to work with you?
So best way definitely is to email me at pam@pamgoodwin.com, or go to my website, pamgoodwin.com. Also find me on LinkedIn and connect with me there. But that's a great way. And if you want to call
quite a bit on LinkedIn, I've seen you, posting. I think LinkedIn is awesome. You kind of get to know people that you really didn't know, and the world is getting so much smaller, right? It's like Facebook. You can deal with somebody in Oklahoma, Texas. It's a great thing, LinkedIn. And I think it's becoming more mainstream. I think the millennials are kind of forcing us to do some of the stuff they're doing. That seems to be the new wave of people in commercial real estate, are the younger millennials coming into the business. So
right.
Anyway, go ahead.
If you're not on social media, especially for LinkedIn is key, then you're really missing out on that opportunity for how much value it has, especially in real estate. A lot of people that I know have not tapped into LinkedIn, so it's a great way,
What's your website again if they want to go on and get that book or your books?
PamGoodwin.com.
Don't you have a class on there as well? You do a class for commercial real estate?
Right.
And how do they get your class on your website? Let me see. Let me go back to that real quick.
I am updating that class. So the best way, if you're interested in the class, is to reach out to me.
Okay.
I have an audio program that you can also buy.
Oh, Pam's course? Is that it? Pam's course. Right. Okay. Tired of making someone else rich and looking to make your first million? Get Pam's course.
That's right.
For $397. Or you could do the $97 e-course. Cool. That's awesome. If somebody wants to learn more about commercial real estate, that's great. And it looks like you have it, down to a science where somebody can just, get involved with it very quickly and learn. I think that, even myself, I'm learning so much on the internet. You don't even really need to take a class today. You can go on to just YouTube and learn so much, or like you have information on your website that everybody's always trying to get an edge and learn more. So anyway, Pam, I want to thank you again for being here on Net Lease TV. And I hope we can do this again. And thank you so much for being part of Net Lease TV, Pam. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chris. I've enjoyed it. Thank
I
you.
have to. I enjoyed our time. I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Chris, Marabella. This is Chris, Marabella 8. This is Chris.